It's been a while, but let's head back to Cannon Films territory. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and that's right, we're heading back to Cannon Films territory. It's a place we have not been in quite some time, but we are going back with a vengeance with Delta Force 2, The Colombian Connection, or how I remember it in the early 90s, Delta Force 2, Operation Stranglehold. Why they changed the title, who the hell knows. Yes, I did a bunch of Cannon Films reviews back in the winter and springtime, and I took a big break from them, but I am back. I'm going to do a few more. I'm going to do Missing Action 3 over the next month or two, and The Hitman, which I remember liking that film as a kid, but I haven't seen it in a long time, so we'll see how it holds up when I do sit down and watch it. And by this point in Cannon Films, they were strapped for money. They were hurting. They were just coming off of Death Wish 3. They had Death Wish 4 coming out. And they were trying anything. They were doing sequels just to try to stay afloat because they thought it would be an easy buck. And that's why they decided to make Delta Force 2. They wanted to do a sequel to Delta Force for a while because Delta Force was a healthy hit for them. And then finally in '89 they went ahead and made Delta Force 2. And Chuck Norris came back to do it. And his brother Aaron Norris directed this film. Now by this point in Chuck Norris's career, his brother Aaron was directing almost every film he did. He directed, in '88 he did Missing in Action 3. And he did this in 89, 90, and then the next year he did The Hitman, and the year after that he did Sidekick. So they were working together very closely through most of the rest of Chuck Norris's career, even in TV. Now, this movie had a $16 million budget according to Wikipedia. That seems really high for a Cannon film, so I don't know if that's accurate, but that's what it's listed as. This movie's rated R, it's an hour and 52 minutes long. Upon release in America, it made between 6.6 and 9.3 million. It's a little hazy. And worldwide it made 22.5, so it did make a couple bucks for Cannon Films, although not enough to bring them back from the brink of bankruptcy. Now in this film we got Chuck Norris back as Colonel Scott McCoy, reprising his role from the first film. Now Lee Marvin died in '87, so it was impossible for him to come back, obviously. So John Ryan, who worked on Death Wish 4, came in to play General Taylor, and he's really good. He's kind of like a wild man general. And Billy Drago plays Roman Cota, the South American drug dealer who's pretty much the epitome of a complete scumbag. Like, this guy is evil down to his core, no redeeming qualities. There's no gray area with this villain. Like, he doesn't even, there's no concept of good here within this guy. He just does whatever he wants, and he doesn't think he's going to have to pay any consequences. And Billy Drago plays it beautifully. But if you're looking for any nuance here, there is none. He's just a complete scumbag, and he'll do whatever the hell he wants. He'll kill whoever he wants, rape whoever he wants. He's just a complete piece of shit of a human being, and Billy Drago knocks it out of the park. I'll give him credit there. Now this movie has a very simple plot. Basically, Chuck Norris wanted to center this around a war on drugs, and at the time cocaine coming across the border from Colombia was a huge deal. Not to say it isn't still around, but other drugs have taken the forefront over cocaine, but back then cocaine was the main thing, and Ronald Reagan had his war on drugs, so Chuck Norris wanted to shine a spotlight on that. It's about that, but it's more just an action picture, it really is. And we'll see if it's better than the first one. We'll find out. The last time was the first time I've seen it in a long time, actually. Now, the beginning of the film, Roman Cota is at Carnival in Rio de Janeiro, and the DEA sets up a sting operation, but a bunch of their agents get killed because Cota is on to them. They bring in Scott McCoy and his partner, and they get him back in a pretty cool skydiving scene where Scott McCoy throws Cota out of the plane, and then he has to catch him through the air, and it's really well done. It's all practical. It looks fantastic. Always beats CGI. And then basically his wife and son get killed, and he goes down to South America to get revenge, and he gets kidnapped by Cota along with other DEA agents that are in the area, and he gets killed in a gas chamber, and McCoy and the rest of the Delta Force gets sent in by the president, and pretty much it devolves into explosions, people getting their ass kicked by Chuck Norris, which is why we see these films. And at the end of the film, we get our final confrontation between Cota and McCoy, and Cota meets a fitting death, although probably it was too nice for a scumbag like him, but he dies in a pretty horrible way. What to like about this film? I think Aaron Norris does a pretty damn good job of the directing, considering what we're going for here. It's just an action revenge type movie. There's some really good action scenes here. I think some of the hand-to-hand combat scenes are really well done. A lot of slow-mo, as you would expect from this type of film. But Chuck Norris is very capable. I mean, he was still is a martial artist, and he was one of the best around at the time, and he handles himself well. And some of the guys they come in to bring that he goes against, it looks realistic and they look badass, and he kicks a lot of guys' asses. That's what we watch a Chuck Norris movie for. We don't watch it for his acting ability. I mean, he's fine, he's stoic, he doesn't say a whole lot, but he kicks ass, and that's why we watch these films. We don't. I'm not expecting Shakespeare or anything like that. I'm looking for a kick-ass action film. In that regards, this film delivers in spades. There's lots of huge explosions, lots of gunfire, lots of hand-to-hand combat. Chuck Norris doing a spin kick and kicking guys' asses. And at the end of the day, Billy Drago's great as the bad guy. He's a complete piece of shit of a human being that you can't wait to see get killed. And you wonder why they keep him alive as long as he do, because McCoy has several opportunities just to snuff him out. But you got to give him respect. He tries to do the right thing by taking him in. At the end, he just lets him fall to his death from thousands of feet in the air. And that's the end of him, and that's the end of the film. That's how it ends. Again, I think Aaron Norris does a nice job with the directing. This isn't a deep film. It's just a straight-ahead action film. That's all it is. You get some good performances. Again, Billy Drago's really good. John Ryan's really good. I think Chuck Norris does what he has to do. I think the guy who plays his partner is good. For a Cannon film, some of these actors down the line are pretty damn good. There's not too many weak spots in the acting department. Richard Jekyll's in this film. This was his last film. He died, sadly, shortly after this. And he's good. He doesn't have a huge part, but he's in it. Overall, I've always enjoyed this film. I enjoyed it again last night. I think the action scene at the end, I know this is going to sound odd coming from me, the action scene at the end goes on for a little bit too long. It's drug out. Goes on a little bit too long. They could have shortened it up a little bit. I think it drags out just a tad bit. They could have made it, give it a little bit more urgency instead of letting it just drag along. But overall, I enjoyed myself. I wasn't expecting much. I mean, it's the first time I've seen this movie in probably about 10 years. I remember enjoying it as a kid. I still enjoyed it. The big kid in me, I had a smile on my face. Chuck Norris kicking ass, big explosions, lots of gunfights. A really awesome bad guy. It's a true piece of shit that you couldn't wait to see him get what he deserved, and he gets it in the end, and the movie just ends after he gets it. So, I mean, the movie's not asking too much of its audience. It doesn't ask you to think about it a whole lot. It's just to sit there and watch some cool action scenes, and there is a lot. They amp up the action a lot in this film compared to the first film. I really like the original Delta Force film. I think I enjoy this one more though because there is more action. There's not a lot of downtime. It goes from it sets up the story, and then it's just basically bam, bam, bam till the end. There's a lot of explosions, a lot of fights. I enjoyed myself. I can't deny that. I really did enjoy myself. This is the third film that Chuck Norris and Billy Drago were in together: Invasion USA, Hero and the Terror, and this one. And I always like Billy Drago when he shows up. Now, Coda's mansion in the film, or Billy Drago's character's mansion in the film, was actually a mansion that was never finished in the Philippines. And the production spent $1 million finishing it, and then they blew the shit out of it. So I guess it was $1 million worth spent, because they do absolutely blow the shit out of it at the end of the film. Overall, this is a check your brain at the door action film with some cool action, a great performance by Billy Drago. I think he is great in this film. Again, complete scumbag, no redeeming qualities, but sometimes that's what a movie calls for, and he absolutely goddamn delivers, and I appreciate it. I would give Delta Force 2 a 7 out of 10. I think it's a decent action film that you can just sit down, turn your brain off, and have a good time with it. And sometimes it's all we need in life, just to sit down and have an enjoyable action film to cleanse our palate with. And that's what happened last night when I watched this. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for Delta Force 2. Have you ever seen this film? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Which one do you like better, the original Delta Force or this one? I actually kind of enjoyed myself a little bit more with this one last night than I did with the first one. I did. I really did. I just think it's a really enjoyable film with a lot of action in it. So yeah, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, share it. It's really great. Would appreciate that. I'll be back next week with some more reviews, but until then, bye.